No, so you came from pretty much the East Coast as far as the Prince George County area, came down south. Talk about the culture, talk a little bit about the culture, talk about you and your wife and family adjusting. Let's get a little personal. How was it adjusting coming from the East Coast down here?
It's hard. It's a dramatic shift and a multitude of reasons. One, I think, up north, I spent 20 years in Montgomery County, Maryland, which is one of the highest performing large urban school districts in America, suburban district. It's suburban, urban, and rural. They have about 150,000 students, almost a $2 billion budget. And like I said, it's one of the highest performing school districts in America, large districts. And then I spent 2 years as a superintendent in a small rural district in Delaware, and then 2 years in Prince George's County. The focus on equity up north was much more advanced than we are here. They've been talking about the disparities and inequities, particularly among poor kids, minority kids, for decades there. I found coming to the South, though we have a strong racial consciousness and awareness, we've not focused on equity and had those conversations about race and equity and social justice as openly as had been the case in the North. So I come with a very progressive, open, kind of direct mind and style. And again, when we're serving a population of predominantly minority children, the question to me becomes, how do we make sure that race or zip code doesn't define someone's destiny? How do we make sure that all of our kids recognize the greatness within them? How do we, with limited resource, which is another big difference. I come from a district where we were paying $16,000 per pupil versus the $9,800 that we have here. So there's a dramatic funding inequity that I see here. And how do we make good and make sure that just because we only fund at $9,800 per student, that our children don't get less, which is very difficult to do, but how do we make sure they are achieving those high standards?